Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to discuss no longer missing, but the Titan. Has this stressed y'all out like it has stressed me out? Do people really do this stuff for the thrill of it all? Are you curious about what is going on downtown in the ocean? I got questions, and I'm hoping that y'all got some answers because I don't have no understanding. But yet, I have been on the edge of my seat. Y'all, let's talk about it. Shall we? Oh, yes, we shall.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
that everybody needs.
You can make this up.
Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even bother?
Aunties and lies, sweet old auntie. Aunties and ways. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Well, welcome back, everybody. And this is Auntie. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for hitting that subscribe button and joining this family. We are one of the best kept secrets on the YT. And to all of my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. Y'all, let me tell y'all, I know this is totally out of the realm of what I usually do, but I have been so immersed in this story since Sunday, and I have to find somebody to talk to about this. I want to send my most sincerest condolences to the family of those who were on the Titan who are no longer with us. We will get into the specifics about that. But as you said, Becca, this story is insane. And I'm telling you right now, I had, and I guess maybe I've been under a rock. Okay, I will admit, maybe I've been under a rock, just going, just going to work and coming home. I didn't know people did stuff like this. I mean, I know, like, as far as like the National Geographics and stuff like that, but I had no idea that people take trips downtown under the Atlantic to go and see the Titanic. Now, I have the movie. My daughter brought it for me for Christmas because I was obsessed with the story of the Titanic. I mean, obsessed. So currently it's still on DVD. I still have it, although I don't have a DVD player, but I just have not been able to let it go. And it was just a story that I just was so interested in. And I'm sure that a lot of you all are Titanic fans, but I am not a fan to the point where I will get into a little minivan and go under the sea. I mean, I have no need to see it. Jack is okay. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Rose moved on. You know what I mean? She moved on. They were able to go back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a lot of stuff, but he okay. I don't have a need to have a conversation with him. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he hung on to that piece of wood as long as he could. Okay. Rose got that whistle. She got to blow that whistle. she was blowing and everything, and because they had came back, they didn't have enough lifeboats and stuff like that. But once Jack, was like she was like blowing up. Okay. The video quality is off because I'm having problems with my StreamYard. But I hate that that's in the comments section, and I hate that I repeated it. So for those of you all, if this is your first time being here, StreamYard has been having issues for the last week and a half, and the video quality may be off. Y'all, it's not usually like that, but please be patient with me. Or what I can do is I can record this and then upload it. But a lot of people like to be in the live, and they like to chat with one another. So, okay. It is going to be what it is. So please have patience with it, because it just went back down again. But I ain't going to stress out about it. I'm going to be a professional. When you're a professional, you continue to move on despite everything that may be going on around you. You keeps it pushing. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to keep it pushing. All right, so let me give you all a little brief history about the Titanic outside of the movie. You don't have to say that, y'all. Y'all don't have to address it. I'm good. I'm going to keep on going. I'm a professional, and I'm going to keep on going. Okay, the RMS Titanic, a luxury steamship, sank in the early hours of April 15th, tax day of 1912, off the coast of Newfoundland in the North Atlantic after sideswiping an iceberg during its maiden voyage. Of the 22,000, I'm gonna round it up, passengers on and crew on board, more than 1,500 people lost their lives in a disaster. The Titanic has inspired countless books, articles, and films, including the 1997 Titanic movie starring Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio, okay? And the ship's story has entered the public consciousness as a cautionary tale about the perils of humans, okay? Now, they were told many times, this captain of the ship allegedly was told multiple times that, okay, there were some flaws with the Titanic. So according to some hypotheses, the Titanic was doomed from the start by a design that lauded as state of the art. The Olympic-class ships featured a double bottom of 15 watertight bulkhead compartments equipped with electric watertight doors that could be operated individually or simultaneously by a switch on the bridge. It was these watertight bulkheads that inspired Shipbuilder magazine in a special issue devoted to Olympic liners to deem them practically unsinkable. But the watertight compartment design contained a flaw that was a critical factor in the Titanic sinking. While the individual bulkheads were indeed watertight, the walls separating the bulkheads extended only a few feet above the waterline. So water could pour from one compartment into another, especially if the ship began to lift or pitch forward. The second critical safety lapse that contributed to the loss of so many lives was the inadequate number of lifeboats carried on the Titanic. They had a mere 16 boats plus 4 collapsibles, which could accommodate up to 1,700 people. The Titanic carried 2,435 passengers, plus a crew of approximately 900 people, brought their capacity to more than 3,300 people. So as a result, even if the lifeboats were loaded to full capacity during an emergency evacuation, there were available seats for only a third of those people who were on board. Who unthinkably inadequate at today's standards, Titanic's supply of lifeboats actually exceeded the British Boards of Trade's requirement. There were a lot of people who were on here. Okay. So it says here, absent was financier J.P. Morgan, whose International Mercantile Marine Trust controlled the Whitewater Line, who had selected Ismay as a company officer. Morgan had planned to join his associates on the Titanic, but canceled at the last minute when some business managers delayed him. This is J.P. Morgan. The wealthiest passenger, they said, that was on there was John Jacob Astor IV. He was the heir of the Astor family fortune, who made waves a year earlier by marrying an 18-year-old Madeline Force, a young woman, 29 years his junior, shortly after divorcing his wife. Okay. So on April 14th, after 4 days, and I'm going to give y'all this background. I know y'all ain't used to this, but y'all can hold on. Y'all can hold on, okay? On April 14th, after 4 days of uneventful sailing, the Titanic received sporadic reports of ice from other ships, but was sailing on calm seas under a moonless, clear sky. At about 11:30, a lookout saw an iceberg coming out of a slight haze dead ahead. Now, remember, there was no moon in the sky, right? They rang the warning bell and telephoned the bridge. The engines were quickly reversed and the ship was turned sharply instead of making a direct impact. The Titanic seemed to graze along the side of the berg, sprinkling ice fragments on the forward deck. Seeing no collision, the lookouts were relieved. They had no idea that the iceberg had jagged underwater spur, which slashed a 300-foot gash in the hull below the ship's waterline. By the time the captain toured the damaged area, 5 compartments were already filling with seawater, and the bow of the doomed ship was alarmingly pitched forward, allowing seawater to pour from one bulkhead into the neighboring compartments. Anders did a quick calculation and estimated that the Titanic might remain afloat for an hour and a half, perhaps slightly more. And at the point, the captain had already instructed his wireless operator to call for help. Now they go on and start talking about the ship's passengers each responded to circumstances with conduct that has become an integral part of the Titanic legacy. Ismay, the White Store managing director, helped load up the boats and later stepped onto a collapsible as it was being lowered. Although no women or children were in the vicinity, when he abandoned ship, he would never live down the of surviving the disaster. Thomas Andrews, Titanic's chief designer, was last seen in the first-class smoking room, staring blankly at a painting of a ship on the wall. Astor deposited his wife Madeline into a lifeboat, and remarkingly, she was pregnant and asked if he could accompany her. Refused entry, he managed to kiss her goodbye. So it was a lot of stuff, right? So they said at least 5 separate boards of inquiry on both sides of the Atlantic conducted comprehensive hearings on the Titanic sinking, interviewing dozens of witnesses and consulting with many maritime experts. Every conceivable subject was investigated, from the conduct of the officers and the crew to the construction of the ship. While it has always been assumed that the ship sank as a result of the gash that caused the bulkhead compartment to flood, various other theories have emerged over the decades, including that the ship's steel plates were too brittle for the near-freezing Atlantic waters, and the impact caused rivets to pop, and that the expansion joint failed, among other things. Y'all, having said all that, this to me is like watching all this unfold brought me to a place where every morning I was on it. Honey, I was sipping air through a straw. I was hyperventilating sometimes. Sometimes I felt like I could not breathe, bitch. I felt like, oh my God, this is happening all over again. I have been on my phone, and I don't know if you all have been, but I've been on my phone morning, noon, like refreshing. First of all, I don't know anybody that does this kind of stuff. I don't. And I made a comment to my daughter because they spent, the fare to get on this Titan, this thing. Let me bring up this picture of this because I was like, I ain't got it to do. I'm already afraid of heights. I don't like the water. Okay. I don't like swimming. I can swim enough, I believe, to save myself in a baby pool. But to get out there, honey, I'm on the edge. Okay. I'm right there where the waves meet the sand. That's me. Although I've always been fascinated with things that relate to water, I ain't got it to do. I'm just gonna be so anytime something like this happens, I'm like into it. When I looked at this type, this I don't want to say, I'm trying to not be offensive, so y'all please understand what I'm saying. When I watched this sub and I saw this picture of this sub, I said, I ain't got it to do. I ain't got it to do. Not no way, not no how, not what. I am not going to be on something, honey, that's looking like it got one eye. Like, what? This would be the last thing that I would ever think. In my whole entire life, I don't care if the admission was 25 cents, I wouldn't get in this. Do y'all see this? They have footage that they have been manning and driving this sub called the Titan with a game controller. Honey, you talking about being on this for how long? 2 hours down, 6 hours looking around, or 4 hours looking around, and then 2 hours coming back up. And this what you got me on? Now, I don't mean no harm, rest in peace. And I know people be doing stuff, but for me, this is doing the most. This is team too much. This is, you better get the about my Yo, I ain't got this to do. So, of course, that made me even more interested in seeing whether or not these people were going to come out. But the more I watched, at first, everybody was reporting very kindly. They were like, they got 96 hours. So, of course, you're going to put a timer on your phone. If you're anything like me, when I get into something, I'm anal. I am anal when I get into it. So, of course, I put a timer on my phone to see how many hours they got. I have been texting my friends. They don't give up, but they, oblige me. They ain't kidding about me. I'm waking people up. Like, I'm like, did you see this? Are you looking at this? Are you? Because all the people that I know that look like me, we don't do like this. Now, we may go to a mountain and we may swing on a swinging valley. Some of us may even go bungee jumping. But people that I know, we don't do this. We don't do this. So it made me much more interested, and I was harassing all my friends. I'm sorry, y'all. I apologize. Okay? Because I have been watching this for days. Okay, so we got breaking news today. We've been sitting around since Sunday. 96 hours worth of air left. 72 hours worth of air left. They 36 hours, 24. Now they saying they hear tapping at the door. And I'm like, oh, okay. What's going on? They thinking SOS. They flying equipment in. They coming across, from different nations and countries. And, everybody coming and they saving these, they doing what they do because a lot of people are first responders. And this is, the Navy got involved because this is their territory. And they like, they down there and everything. But here's the thing. They signed a contract and a waiver that one of the gentlemen who went down before said that on the first page, DEAF was mentioned 3 times. 3 times before you even got to all the other extensive paperwork that you had to sign. The first page had DEAF on that 3 times. You ain't got to tell me but once. Auntie, this may cause, all right. Soon as you say may cause, I'm already out. You don't even have to finish the sentence for me. You ain't got to finish that sentence. Like, young, I'm out. I'm out. First of all, when I would have got there and saw it looking like that, I'd have been like, oh, no. I ain't getting in something with one hole on it. As claustrophobic as I can be sometimes I don't like being, well, first of all, I'm introverted. So just being around a crowd bothers me. Concerts, enclosed environments, and a whole bunch of mofos, I'm a panic. You ain't gonna see it unless you know me. I just recently went to something that I had to go through. And someone saw me who knows me and came over and said, are you okay? I could do a few people, but I cannot do a whole group of people. And then especially after the demic, and then mofos got their, their stuff. Nah, this a country, we free. You can do what you want to do. But I ain't took my mask off since. I just ain't ready yet. I'm one of them slow mofos. It take me a long time to be able to put my defenses down. That's just me. That's something that I acknowledge. That's something I know about me. Okay? I don't like being in enclosed anything. Boxes, airplanes, trains, cars. I don't like being in there long. I want to get in the car or wherever it is. I want to go to my destination. I want to get the fuck out and I want to be able to breathe. And this right here, you telling me I only got 96 hours? Now, everybody was being very nice and very optimistic about this. When it went down, I believe they lost all communication. I believe they said within like an hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours. So they were like, okay, we got to get in contact with them. But if you only using a PlayStation controller to navigate through them, and they say it's dark, they can't even tell you where the next bus stop is. I'm just saying. But this is a risk that a lot of people take. And they're taking these risks at $250,000 a piece. They knew the risk, but they were explorers. And my daughter had to tell me, Mom, this is how we found out a lot about life and the world, above and beneath, because there are individuals like them who push the boundaries, who make discoveries, who invent. And it gave me some solace, because at first I was like, what the, who the would be doing something? What? Honestly, I was there. And I'm sure that there are many other people who were there along with me. I never considered that these people were doing this for multiple reasons. And then to find out that the CEO is married to the great great granddaughter of the Titanic, two of the Titanic victims, it all hit me. It all came together. However, round about sometime yesterday, people just weren't so nice no more. There was some people who were experts and who had gone down before, and they were like, Young, it may have imploded. And I was like, what's that mean? Let me Google that, because I think I know what that means, but let me Google that. Y'all, I'm being real. This is your first time here. I'm being real. This story was so beyond my wildest imaginations and dreams. And that's why I ain't down here. You ain't even going to get me to go on a boat downtown to the Potomac. I don't ride them boats. I got on one time. I can't remember, the Spirit of Washington or whatever it was. And I'm going to tell you, honey, I had a Spirit of Washington. When I got from up out of there, and as seasick as I was like, Alice, you said you had to Google imploding too? Okay. I was like, I don't like water. And a lot of the experts were saying that they believe that the ocean is not our friend, and that, it is there to, if it's going to get you, if it can get you, it's going to get you. And I was like, this is what I thought the whole time, but bitch, I ain't have no verification, no education on that. I have no understanding. And when I started listening, I was like, that's why I'm so fearful of water. And it's rumors that Black people don't know how to swim. I ain't one of them. I do know how to swim. But I know how to swim enough to save my life if I'm close. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Okay. So let me get off of it. So I want to talk about this guy. His name is Dan Abraham, I believe it is. He was supposed to go down that mother. He was supposed to go on that trip. See, I started looking at the British TV. I was, y'all, when I say obsessed, I mean obsessed. Because I was getting obsessed. So I started looking at everything. Morning, noon, and night. No bullshit. With a timer on. I knew this morning when I woke up at 7 o'clock that it was gone. Allegedly. So I was watching this particular dude. I'm not going to play it on a thing, but I want y'all to hear. This is a man. His friend is currently was on the Titan, and he is speaking about what if he didn't go. There were so many, and there are so many videos of individuals who have indicated that this man was told that this thing needed more testing, that it needed more work. Like they were told about the Titanic. It's so coincidental. Or was it his destiny? Did he meet up with the Wendy, the great granddaughter of Idris Strauss and his wife? Was that a coincidence, or was that his destiny? Was this all his destiny, y'all? Hi, Chad. Thank you, Auntie. I don't feel alone. I was right there. What little hurdler, honey? I was obsessed. Ain't even a word. So I want y'all to listen to this. I'm gonna hold it up on the screen because, as I said, I don't want to play the video directly, but I want y'all to listen to this. I thought it was so eerie. Did y'all see the last Ocean Gate tour? No, I didn't. Okay.
Invulnerable. By the time we're done testing it,
okay, just 1 second.
And that's pretty much what they said about the Titanic. That's right.
So did y'all hear that? So I want y'all to hear this relationship that this current event in 2023 has with the Titanic.
By the time we're done testing it, I believe it's pretty much invulnerable. And that's pretty much what they said about the Titanic. That's right. And I will go on all the first dives, put my money where my mouth is.
That was OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush doubling down in 2017 that his...
So he was doubling down about the conditions of this sub, which is the same thing that they did with the Titanic. But I want y'all to hear what this dude get right side. He said, I was about to go, but I said, I ain't got it to do. After he began to look at stuff, he said, I ain't got it to do.
Submersible, it's about the safety of the barge pole.
Okay, so let me go.
First, a slight correction. He wouldn't have been on this exact dive necessarily. I just paid to go on a very similar dive. It was back in 2017.
2017.
One of the earlier investors in the program with the scientific view of going down and doing a 3D scan of the Titanic. They set different milestones where your deposit ramped up. So if they hit the first milestone, you paid more in the deposit. They constantly missed those milestones. They weren't hitting the depths that they were supposed to be doing.
So y'all see that he said that they were going in, they weren't making the milestones because there were certain depths that they wanted them to accomplish and they didn't. He said they kept missing the milestones. Now, mind you, he didn't put a deposit down to go down that month. Okay? He put a deposit down and said, I'm going down there. But the more he said he went down there and saw that they were not making these milestones, he said, oh, hell no. I'm hoping y'all can hear because I ain't going to play his stuff live.
Which was the first alert in my direction.
He said that was the first alert in his direction.
When they were doing some testing out in the Bahamas, I was aware of them using like industrial piping, scaffolding type stuff as a ballast, which I thought was a bit amateurish. They made a bit of a play on the controller, which sounded like fun, but I did think well, surely you could have developed something a bit more professional. And then as time went by and they missed more and more depths, by the end of November 2018, I started pressing them on certification. And it became evident that not only did they not have certification, they weren't going to try and even get certification for going down to 3,000.
Okay. So he said not only did they get, he asked them about certification, they didn't get it. They needed a certain certification to say that they could go down to 3,000 feet below the sea. 3,000 feet below what? Not only that, there are reports that they couldn't even get insurance. They weren't even insured. No insurance. When y'all go out here on this stuff, y'all better check that. Y'all need to check. It's not a funny situation, but I don't have no other easier way to get through it than with humor. Not to be offensive at all. But when y'all go out on these excursions, on these different islands and stuff like that, y'all need to check the credentials of these companies, these things that you all are doing, these expeditions. Like, y'all need to make sure that you check this stuff before you wreck it. It appears that they all knew because they were signing waivers after waivers after waivers. Waivers after waivers. No one would insure them because they didn't have no certificates. And dude said, I ain't got it to do. But who certifies stuff like that?
Meters once, let alone several times. At that point, I thought, these risks are beyond what I can mitigate in my own head, so I withdrew from the program.
Did you speak directly with Stockton Rush, the CEO?
I didn't deal with them directly, no. And through an intermediary.
Did you express any of your concerns to your friend who is now on that vessel?
I expressed my concern to two different friends, both of whom pulled out at different stages, not directly with Hamish, no.
I want to play a piece of sound from Stockton Rush because he talked about some of the safety issues and why he didn't think it was that dangerous. This is number 3.
I don't think it's very dangerous. If you look at submersible activity over the last 3 decades, there hasn't even been a major injury, let alone a fatality. What worries us is not once you're underwater. What worries me is when I'm getting you there, when you're on the ship in icy states with big doors that can crush your hands and people who may not have the best balance who fall down, bang their head. That's to me the dangerous part. Mm-hmm. But the scary part for most people is going down to 6,000 psi.
When you were talking to them about going on the vessel, is that what they said to you about the safety concerns? That, look, we're not really worried about the big picture stuff. We're really more worried about smaller injuries?
We didn't get into that detail, the discussion on the risks and dangers, purely because it hadn't progressed that far. I think my opinion on the risks and dangers are the complete opposite. I think moving around the mothership would be relatively safe compared to being in an experimental vessel going down to 3,800 meters. It's very deep.
Did they make it clear it's experimental? Because, we've had a number of people on who have been defending the company.
So he indicated that not only did he not go down, but he talked to his friends, and 2 of them canceled theirs too. But he didn't speak to the other gentleman. He did not talk to him about it. And I wonder why. He did not talk to Hamish, who was his friend, about it. And I wonder why he didn't feel comfortable talking to his friends about all the apprehensions and all the issues that he saw with it. Why didn't he talk to his friend? Did he feel like he couldn't? Did he feel like he couldn't talk to his friend? Like, why didn't he? Like, because I feel like, and I mean, I ain't judging him, but I'm just like, okay, if I think it's jacked up, I'm going to tell you I think it's jacked up. I don't know if we're going to fall out about it. I hope we don't, but I'm going to talk to my friend. At least I think that I would. Y'all let me know down in the comment. Would y'all talk to y'all friend about it? Put a 1 in the chat if you would have talked to your friend who was currently on the Titan at that time, because we were all holding our hope that they were going to survive this. Put a 1 in the chat if you'd have told your friend. Put a 2 if you would have been like, no, I ain't telling them nothing. I think I would have told my friend. Young, I ain't going down there, but here's why. Or maybe he felt like he didn't have a kind of relationship where he could talk to him about it. Y'all let me know downtown to the chat. Today we find out. Yesterday, we had hope again. Different people were saying different things. Different experts were coming on board. They were talking. And child, we thought we heard a sound. And when I say we, I mean we. Like I was there. Like I was on every Navy ship. I was there. You couldn't tell me that I wasn't there. I could feel the water on my skin, the coolness of the breeze. So we thought that we heard some knocking, and then we find out that there's some debris. I said, God, it's some debris. And then it dawned on me, on all the experts who did not want to say that they believed that when they lost contact on Sunday, it imploded on a Sunday. And then I'm thinking, why didn't they go down to take those rovers and go down there on Sunday? See, I don't know anything about this. I'm just, a old woman on the outside looking in. Why didn't they send something down there on Sunday? Were the rovers not available? It's just a question that I'm asking myself. Because all of us and the humanity in us for each other, the love and the compassion that we have for each other, had all of us hoping they wasn't freezing. Had all of us worried that someone was panicking because they said that this thing was locked from the inside. You had no way of getting out. There was no hatch or anything down there. So all of our imaginations is thinking, God, like, are they reading books? Are they sleeping? People were, saying that they need to sleep and, that they need to, reduce the amount of carbon monoxide and, like all kinds of stuff was going on in our minds. Are they okay? How's the little boy? He went with his daddy. We all imagined the conversations that he was having with his dad and that his dad was having with him. We imagined the CEO comforting everybody and saying, it's going to be okay. We're going to get out of this. Only for us to realize and find out today that that the likelihood that they were gone on Sunday is 99%. I imagine so much. I don't know what y'all imagine, but I imagine there was some really serious conversations going on. I imagine that the father spent his last it tore at our heartstrings. It just pulled them. We've been doing this for 4 days now, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Today, Thursday. 4 days, right? Because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In 4 days. I have been praying like nobody's business. Praying that they would come up the surface. But as I began to listen to the experts, and they were saying it should have came up, it had all these fail-safe, it would bring itself up, it would do this and it would do that, only to find out that people had warned him about making sure to do the test, to get certified. They said that it was made out of some kind of material. I can't remember, y'all. I ain't technical like that. But they were like, had it expanded. And, he had successful runs. Multiple runs he had, right? People had been down with him. They said it was remarkable. And now this. They said that they didn't feel a thing. They said they did not feel a thing. I want to show y'all this picture real quick. Let me see if I can share it on the screen. Hold on, y'all. One of the successful this was success. This is what it looked like. That was success. That is a picture of the Oceanaire taking a picture of the Titanic. They said Father Neptune has no patience for humanity. There were so many people who were talking about the sea and how it doesn't have patience for us. In this particular article, they said an expert who raised concerns about the Titansubmersible 5 years ago has told Sky News that his warnings were not heeded. They said back in 2018, William Cohen had expressed fears that the vessel's design and construction were not being tested by an independent third party. In a letter to OceanGate, the company that owns the missing sub, he had warned that a single negative event could undo an inevitable safety track record that spanned 40 years. On behalf of the industry experts, Mr. Conan had written, in quotes, "Our apprehension is that the current experimental approach adopted by OceanGate could result in negative outcomes from minor to catastrophic that would have serious consequences for everyone in the industry." speaking to the Sky News after a debris field was found. And I was like, what is a debris field? They mean it's pieces of all over the bottom of the sea. They said at the search site for the Titan, Mr. Conan said, Father Neptune has absolutely no patience for humanity. If we get it wrong, we get it wrong, and we pay the price for it. If we play this game, we have to be absolutely sure of ourselves. We say we have rules and regulations. Well, they come because of mistakes, because of things we have learned, and embody that in a process. He spoke about losing two of his friends because two of his friends were down there with him. They were down there together. One of the gentlemen who was down there was named Mr. Titanic. He had done it successfully. And then I don't know if he was investing or what. If you've safely done this and you know the protocols and what it takes to go down, why go down with someone with a joystick? There was another man who came forward and he indicated David Mearns, who was a friend of the passengers on the Titan, told the BBC that the wreckage included a landing frame and a rear cover from the submarine. He said there was an OceanGate co-founder who left the company years ago. He also told the British broadcasters in response to news of the discovered wreckage, end quote, he said, if there is a failure, it will be an instantaneous implosion. If that were to happen 4 days ago, it would have been the same. They all knew. All the experts knew. But they didn't want to get in there and get dirty because they knew that there were people like me who was hanging on everything that they said. Every month word they said, I was hanging on to it. I just wanted to know if there were people like me who don't understand this stuff. Like, this my first time. Like, I know I'm ignorant when it comes down to this. Again, my most sincere condolences to the family, even to the billionaire's son who was at a concert, child, that Cardi B had to come out and read him for filth. I want to share a little bit about who was on there. I want to give y'all just a little bit of background as we pay respect. Hamish Harding was there. He is a British businessman. He previously shared on Instagram on June 17th that he would be a part of the trip. Harding was a British businessman and a pilot based in the United Arab, I never can pronounce that right, but y'all know what I mean. He previously told Business Avatar magazine that he grew up in Hong Kong with his parents before qualifying as a pilot in the mid-1980s while studying at Cambridge University. The owner of global sales company Action Aviation, Harding had been on several explorations over the years, including visiting the South Pole several times and going to space as part of the Blue Origin NS-21 mission in June 2022. Shortly after the Titan went missing, Harding's stepson Brian, from his wife's previous relationship, confirmed that Harding was above the vessel as he asked for thoughts and prayers in a since deleted post. Shahzada and Suleman, I know I jacked his name up, Dawood. Pakistani businessman Dawood and his son is Suleman were both aboard the submersible. Their family and King Charles Prince Trust International confirmed to People. He was a trustee at the CD Institute, a nonprofit research organization on life and intelligence in the universe. Per his bio on the website, he has a MSc in Global Textile Marketing from Philadelphia University, USA, and an LLB from Buckingham University, UK. The website also states that he was a British citizen and lived in the UK with his wife, Christine, his children, Suleman and Alina, as well as their dog and cat. He also worked with the Prince Trust International and the British Asian Trust set up by King Charles. Prince Trust International had a long-standing relationship with Shahzada and his family. DEO Will Straw said in a statement, "We are shocked by this awful news, praying for a rescue and sending out our thoughts to his family during this deeply challenging time." Paul Henry. Y'all, this is just... French diver Paul Henry was also on board. He was born in France and lived in Africa for 13 years with his family before returning to France to complete his studies. Afterward, he joined the French Navy, where he eventually became a commander before retiring in 1986 after 22 years of service. He was nicknamed Mr. Titanic because he had a long history with the vessel, as he was part of the first expedition to visit it in 1987. He had visited many times since then. He also served as the director of underwater research for EM Groups and RSM Titanic Inc. Per his bio, he had led several expeditions to the Titanic, completed 37 dives in the submersible himself, and supervised the recovery of 5,000 artifacts, including the recovery of the Big Piece, a 20-ton section of the Titanic's hull, which is now displayed in Las Vegas. During a 2019 interview with the Irish Examiner, he discussed his involvement with the Titanic wreckage and whether he ever got scared traveling so far down in the ocean. He says, "If you are 11 millimeters or 11 kilometers down, if something bad happens, the result is the same," he told the outlet at the time. He said, "When you're in deep water, you're dead before you realize that something is happening. So it's just not a problem." So he knew. He knew. Stockton Rush. OceanGate CEO and co-founder Stockton Rush was among the 5 passengers above the submersible as a member of the crew. In addition to being the CEO of OceanGate, Rush is a co-founder and member of the board of trustees of OceanGate Foundation, a nonprofit organization which aims to catalyze emerging marine technology for further discoveries in marine science, history. The website added that before founding OceanGate, Rush became the youngest jet transport rated pilot in the world, where he obtained his DC-8 type captain's rating at the United Airlines Jet Training Institute in 1981 at the age of 19. Additionally, he served as a DC-8 first officer while studying mechanical and aerospace engineering at Princeton University before joining the McDonnell Douglas Corporation as a flight test engineer on the F-15 program in 1984. A previous Princeton feature on Rush reported that he went on every one of OceanGate's dives. In the feature, he also spoke excitedly about the Titanic expeditions. He said, in quote, "Part of what we do is get people to appreciate that most of human history is underwater," end of quotes. He said, quote, "If you think about it from a perspective, if you had a caravan of precious items, records, books, gold, or whatever, and you were snowed in on the passes of the Mongolia, all that stuff got stolen. If you were in a ship carrying King Herod's possessions to Rome and you sank, it's still there." Rush wife Wendy Rush, who is the director of communications at OceanGate, is also the great-great-granddaughter of Isidore and Ida Strauss, two first-class passengers who died in the Titanic when it sank in 1912. And they gave no background on a little boy. I don't know if they did that out of respect or what. Immediately after they found debris at the bottom of the ocean, they contacted the family. Everybody's worst fears have been imagined. It appears that immediately upon them going down that there was an implosion. Many people believe that the material that was used to house the submersive was weak from having too many, trips, that it needed to be revamped. It should have been tested. I think the thing that amazes me the most is that they all knew what the risks were, and they were willing to take that risk. But I ain't got it to do. I don't have it to do. They all have very prestigious backgrounds. They were very educated. But now they leave behind family, friends, associates. There was a gentleman who talked today, and I can't remember where he was from, but he said that this was the first time that something like this has happened, and I don't remember anything like this happening. So I guess what he's saying is factual and actual. It's nothing wrong with doing these things, right? But use wisdom. Really assess the risk. There were so many alleged red flags. So many people who had suggested that they tried another way. And because they didn't, you have people like myself who don't know what is going on, but just know that they are human beings who could be possibly suffering at the bottom of the sea. Y'all assess these risks. Make sure that this is something that before you sign that line, that dotted line, that you really think, is it worth it? We have risk when we walk out our front door. We have risk if we just lay in the bed. There are risks. Life comes with risk. We know that. We're totally aware of that. But make sure that you assess them. Make sure you assess them. Do the right thing by your family and your friends. Because whatever you do, especially when you become a parent and a husband or a wife, will affect your family. God rest their souls. Rest in peace. They all appear to have passed away doing something that they love to do. When there are people out here who are dying for less. So I totally understand the risk that they took. Again, my prayers to their family. My prayers to their family. Thank you all so much for allowing me to do content that is not the regular content. Thank you all so much, all of my subscribers who have been here with me and my members, for letting me be outside of the box. Thank you for not making me stay in a box. We are more than reality shows. And I am going to be doing more current events. Because we can handle it, right, y'all? We can handle it. If you are not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And if you want, to drop a little dime, go ahead on the drop a little dime. You can drop a super chat after the video. And so, you don't have to do it, but I appreciate when you do. I want to say thank you so much to Fio for the $2 super chat. She says, I won't even ride in the car without insurance. Absolutely, Fio. I'm with you on that. I will not do anything, honey, without the insurance. Okay? Okay. And I also want to say a special thanks. I saw it come up. There was a lot more that I was going to talk about, but I think I'm going to cut it off. But I want to say a special thank you to Miss Charlotte Bain. She says, okay, I won't read that. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for your support. You always support everything I do. Oh, you said, okay. It has, Priscilla. This has struck everyone's heart. Thank you all again so much for letting me be out of the box. And having said that, I'm going to leave. I love you all to pieces. Y'all have a great night on purpose. And be safe out there in those streets and in the waters.